Alright guys, here we are for the final episode of Daredevil.
It's the Double D!
Season 3, Episode 13.
Season 3 of 3.
Yes.
Episode 13 of 13.
No, it's sad to see it go,
It is not.
Well, this was like a decent episode. It didn't feel like this is the end of a series.
No,
like, it didn't have that kind of awesome.
You know, it has the usual. You know, as we've come close to the end of this one, I started making comments like, it turns out most seasons of these Netflix Marvel shows end with some amount of closure. They leave things open, but then they don't even they don't even always follow up on those things.
As far as open-ended cliffhanger things here, we really didn't get anything that made me angry. I'm like,
you're not like,
we're never gonna see that. So that's fine.
The ending actually made me chuckle and say, okay, whatever, fine. And like that sort of thing.
We'll never see Dex again. Oh well.
Let's talk about all that.
Okay.
The very, 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 very last shot of the epilogue, which is like 15 minutes long, something like that, is
just about 15.
Is Dex getting surgery on his back?
Yeah, because
Fisk
broke his back.
Yeah, but it's like, T8 and T9 are pulverized, sir. What are we gonna do? We're gonna use some experimental like treatment or something, and then like his eyes shoot open, and then they have it has a fucking bullseye in it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, Channel 11, is at it again with this shit. I don't even watch those CW shows, but there's certain things that I see where I go, this should be on a CW show. And something about like obviously like the maybe like the shot was a little better, like the lighting was a little better, the camera move.
They're
or
honestly getting really good with cameras and lighting,
so
it just was.
It just is a CW. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh god, and that will never come to fruition.
You just know though, there's some dude out there, like some casual who's watching, and that scene, the very last scene of the show, goes, oh, that's a bullseye.
I hope so. Even though he had a fucking bullseye hat on for like half of his flashbacks.
Didn't see that though.
Yeah.
That's what what I pictured when that first popped up.
Oh my god!
When I first saw Daredevil in theaters, the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah.
We're like, it's like an hour and a half movie, and we're like an hour and 15 minutes into it, and I hear somebody right in front of me lean over and goes, "Oh my god, he's blind!"
Wait a minute, he's blind.
There's a 90% chance that could have been a funny thing. This person leaned over to tell a friend.
No.
But to me, it hit me like getting a heart attack. I was like, these
would,
people are impossibly dumb.
I would flip those percentages. I would say that it's a 10% chance that it was a fucking witty joke that they just nailed the timing of perfectly, and 90% chance of like, what? Because they were like eating popcorn or like on their fucking cell phone looking at Instagram, or back then Facebook, or back then
it wouldn't even have been. It would have been. You're on AIM.
They were reading a newspaper. I don't know what they were doing to like miss the whole beginning when he fucking folds his money and like talks about being blind with Foggy.
Yeah.
Oh god. All right.
Yeah.
So back to this though.
Back to this.
It opens with like news footage. Fisk is nervous. There's like voiceover of like pundits arguing on TV about how like Fisk has been framed. People have to wake up. It was Daredevil all along. And you're like,
all people probably in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, like people are buying his bullshit. That's crazy. And Vanessa comes in, and
Vanessa, who was the same person the whole series.
Good.
I looked it up. She just looks dramatically different.
Well, so again, like I still didn't look it up, and during this one, I thought I guess it is the same person, but again, like that realization that I wouldn't be able to tell, and I don't give a shit, like was so much more important to me than whether or not it was really her or not.
The tone of her character had changed so dramatically, and
like
she looked, at least, I guess people change the haircut or whatever over the course of a year, but she looked different enough to me that I was like, this is a different person, 100% different person.
No, she was not on season 2, or was she? When did everything break down? I feel like she's just been.
I can't remember now.
I think she's just been working, doing other stuff, living her life.
She's done like 11 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
probably just season 1 and this.
Right, and they like pulled her back in for this part. Like, hey, it's like 3 episodes towards the end. We're just gonna knock some stuff out. Don't worry about it. And she was like, okay. And I don't think they like, she's like, it's fine, whatever. So I don't think it was a big. Like, oh, we have to make sure she looks and acts exactly the same. She's like, that was 5 years ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I'm living my life. She comes in, oh, you're nervous, it's cute. Everyone's broken, Wilson. You just have to find someone whose broken puzzle piece, like, fits with yours, and do a whole thing. At this point, I don't know like what they're leading up to, but it was exactly the thing I said of like there has to be some like event they have to be going to or some shit like that. But they just
a wedding.
But they throw it in during the during this episode.
Yeah, there was no build up to this.
And
I'm like, is this a surprise wedding? Like,
no, and like you don't know, like people even complain like how can Fisk make us come here on such short notice? It's like so dumb. And like I don't know when they said it, it's a wedding, but at a certain point it was just like, oh, he wants to prove to everyone that he's the head of Hell's Kitchen, and they accept him. And then at some point that turns into like, oh yeah, and it's a wedding and all that stuff. So I don't know, whatever.
No, it was a little bit lame. And then like everybody at the wedding all getting that text message, and the Deem thing gets sent out. I'm like, how did that get sent out? What was did they just hit send all and it went to the world?
It's a push notification. Yeah, they just at everyone. And
it just seemed very crazy because like not only was it at everyone, but everyone got it at the same time. So you can't even say like, oh, we leaked this and then it went viral.
It spread viral
because they all just got it. They were on the same time code. They were watching it in surround.
It was kind of like just like the audio was like a little out of sync. Yeah, it was basically watching it at the same time. No, I don't know how they hijacked the airwaves and Max Headroomed that message out there, but that's
that was one of the biggest. Where I was like, what the hell is this? What does it even mean?
Like the payoff for that should be that they think, oh, they're all looking at us. Oh wait, but they're looking at us for a bad reason, and they do that, but in like the worst way. It's like it doesn't land. Like Fisk should be like, this is it. This is our moment. It's so good, and then be like, crush what, and then like crush the phone in his hand and be like,
he snatches a dude's phone away from him, and like it was the best. Like so, you're Fisk, take my phone away, and the guy who he took it from is like, still watching the phone.
I didn't catch that. That's amazing. He's like, hey buddy, what the fuck?
It was so good.
Can you increase the brightness? I can't see this viewing angle. It doesn't look good.
It's a little tilt a little bit. Okay,
thank you. Can I have,
no, it's very
can I have the other earbud, please?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Fisk. Let's go back.
Sure.
Felix, the limey henchman, it opens with he's been kidnapped by Daredevil. And Daredevil does the Suge Knight interrogation routine.
This was wonderful for the simple reason this type of scene happens a lot where people get thrown off a building and like there's like a rope around or this or that.
Nice.
And but the way they did it, and I'm always the guy who's like, it would pull your leg right out of the socket. This is your full weight falling. I'm like, people do that like you trip and your shit pops.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, and then this I'm like, okay, they did it. His leg is totally out.
He has a whole like karate class mishap like brace on his leg.
Yes.
It's like a whole thing. And I'm like, I had the exact same thought because you hear,
I was like proud. I was like, oh right, you did it right.
You did it. Yeah, no, because there's like a like crunch noise and he screams and like grabs his knee and goes like, ah, I'll tell you anything.
I can't even imagine how bad that would feel.
Because the weight is still on it, pulling it. Oh god, yeah.
It's out. And it might not go back in the way it came out.
Shit like that is never the same. That's a lie, kids. Doctors can't fix you.
Part of me also liked the idea. Problems. I'm like, let him kill this guy. Like if
who is this guy?
If you threw him off the thing, like this is the turning point where he's like, no, I got to kill Fisk. You're step one, and just like I am now a murderous man, and he's not, and he never was, and doesn't do that stuff. And I like that the character has morals and convictions and sticks to his his borderline. What would you call that? Like
Catholic.
Yeah, I guess Catholic is
they make a big
his
deal.
Religious principles.
They make a big deal out of it. He says it's a Catholic thing. That's why he doesn't kill people, because anyone is worthy of redemption. It's a whole stupid thing. And yes, like at a certain point in the episode, our like ticking clock becomes like Foggy realizes something and then is like, oh no, I have to stop Matt from like violating his principles and all that stuff. That like turns into like the thing. Mm-hmm. It's not like, is he going to get killed? Is he going to make it? Is he going to do the thing? It, like that, that is the like stakes is like, if we let Matt go through with this, if we let his fury consume his principles, right? Yeah, then he goes off, right? So they were like, oh no. And like that became his like, which is kind of interesting and like different. I like that. But yes, there's a lot of talking, a lot of churching, a lot of like, oh, this is a thing and all that stuff. Whatever. Yes.
I liked the roping Dex in, telling him the truth.
Okay, well,
that stuff, because now...
So Felix tells him, he's like, well, so there's two paths here.
Uh-huh.
We'll quickly mention, he says something about, I saw Vanessa order a hit and all that stuff. Put a pin in that. The other thing is he says, and Julie Barnes! And then Matt's like, who the fuck's Julie Barnes? Cut, right? But now, Matt knows all about all the stuff, so he can use that to antagonize Dex, and
it's brilliantly done because this would have been difficult for him to get through.
Yeah.
But use a killing machine, and who didn't kill anyone? Did you notice?
No?
his whole every one of those people were like, oh, my head and all this and that. It's very strange because Dex has never not killed somebody on purpose.
That's interesting.
He kills everybody. So I was like, all right, because there were two schools of thought here where under that first guise of Matt is changing and wants people dead, I was like, cool, that's smart. Use Dex. Dex will murder all these people for you without a second thought. But that didn't end up happening. But I liked the potential. So picture this going in a different route, where he does just push that guy off the edge and kill him. Maybe after he gets the information, of course, because he wouldn't be able to do it. And then just using Dex to murder his way through the thing, and then he kills Fisk, and there's just like all these dead henchmen. Because in a real scenario where Dex goes mad, because picture Dex like at the church or in the office building or whatever, just at the wedding. Everyone there is on the take. He's just fucking throwing silverware, killing everybody.
It's literally,
and when it ends, the city is like crime-free.
It's literally mobsters who don't want to be their gangsters.
It could be the red wedding of Daredevil.
Yeah, it's the red Daredevil wedding. I think now that you mentioned that, I didn't really pick up on that. Because even when he throws the gun into Hadley's face, I was kind of like, is that a kill shot? He seems to be able to kill people with marbles and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was not.
Is that okay? Right? So now...
It was an interesting throw, though. He, like, backhand, flicked
he's so good. And to have him
a monster.
To have him be paralyzed was so perfect. Forget about it. Later.
He'd be as deadly in a wheelchair.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, just if he had his upper body, yeah.
Well, yeah, I assume he's... Well, you think it was neck down, paralyzed?
He said, I can't move, so I thought he meant, anything.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know, and they didn't really touch on it, and now he's getting, like, a super back, so whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, he's, like, throwing silverware and, like, hucking stuff and, like, doing all these things. I think, in retrospect, based on our, like, previous topic, having Daredevil use Dex to kill people is still, like, an ethical violation, so they had to have Dex not just go on this murderous rampage.
He did murder people,
and, like,
though.
Snap people's whatever. Yes,
just not every single person like you would have thought.
No, but as you pointed out, characters that have speaking roles and names in the credits, he somehow decided to only wound or maim or whatever.
And all the FBI agents. He didn't kill any police.
Exactly, yeah. So there was a thing there where maybe he, yes, he killed some people, but maybe they were all bad, and it was fine or whatever, right?
Yeah. But, like, even... That's where your ethical stuff gets in. Where
it gets
like,
murky.
This person is a murderer. Yes, they were kind of, their hand was forced, but you always have a choice, and they chose the murder.
Oh yeah. But he made Matt made his choices knowing that he was provoking a murderer and all that stuff. So he'd probably have trouble later in church about that.
He'll say a Hail Mary. He'll be fine.
That's how it works. I really liked, so as dumb as it was, we'll just follow Dex through then to backfill, right? As dumb as it was, him finding Julie in the freezer and like the way she looked was super interesting.
And taking her with him?
And then he's like, Julie, he's one of the good ones. And I'm like, oh my god, he's gone straight up crazy. He's straight crazy. That's amazing, right?
I don't think I liked leaving her in the car, though.
Weird, right?
I think I would have liked the thing where, like, he has her on like a trolley waiter thing, or he's like carrying her,
an apple in her mouth, yeah.
Something, because why did he bring her in the first place if he was going to leave her in the car?
Yes, it was very inconsistent, and it was done just for that gag, just for that moment, I feel like. But I enjoyed it enough that I don't care. I just, if he was keeping her there and he was so delusional and crazy that he was like, this is fine, then, you would think that that would escalate more, and that would be, like, a thing.
And he would be just as deadly with her on one arm, like, dragging her, throwing things, like...
Just throwing things? Yeah, exactly.
We never got... Now, I think it was a mistake. We never got to see him throw a card. I think that would have been a fun thing.
Neat.
Like, he goes in, and, he's patted down, has no weapons, deck of cards comes out, and he just fucking, rails people.
Or, Colin Farrell, straightened out a paperclip.
Sure.
It was like this. Kills a guy. Here it's a microphone though, and this is our climactic thing. Like you get it's like the bookend for the thing where he threw the baton at Foggy and he goes and grabs it.
Yeah.
Here he chucks a catering plate tray, and bonk, and Fisk is like the fucking what the oh god. But I love the whole Julie and I want to wish you all the best or something like that. He does a toast.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was well done. I feel like, because you see Matt following the trail of destruction, and then Fisk is like, "This is not good," and then like you hear like, "Meow. Hi everybody, I'd like to make a toast," and it's fucking him in the whole suit, just in the spotlight, just like, "Hi," like, "Oh fuck."
There was something really awesome and charming about that the suit is just like out in the light and the thing, like, because it's a nice looking suit, and and he wears it well.
Yeah.
I thought that it's funny that Fisk has this like super impervious bulletproof suit for himself, but the wife's not designed to have a thing like that for her. Do you think that's a little strange?
So that was the thing too, right? His suit jacket was blocking all of Dex's projectiles.
Yes, it blocked
right?
everything.
Okay,
it was like a perfect. Probably that same guy that made the Daredevil suit made that.
I'd forgotten about that detail until he then gives it to her, and she goes, "But what about you?" And he goes, "Keep it." Take it, whatever. Yeah, so I was like, okay, good.
He
good.
immediately gets hit like in the kidneys, like
with
the
like
second
shards
he takes it
of
off.
like big shards of like glass from the thing.
And he's a big dude, but
but he pulls it out and goes like like fuck, like
get this garbage off of me. I wear silk.
You can feel it, like it's so good. So we're getting up to the final fight, I guess. I think I'm leaving something out.
Most likely.
Keep going. There's a gigantic penthouse fight. I thought it was really good.
It was good. It's not that this fight was bad, or really any parts were like dramatically bad about this episode. It's just that I'm like going into it going, this is the last I'm ever gonna get of this. It felt very short. Like,
it was short.
It didn't feel like it had that epicness of an ending. And like the fight was nice. I like this like three-way charm fight where they're like, this one grabs that one, this one, this one, and they're dancing around, and I thought that was cool. But it didn't exactly play out the way I would have liked.
I know you want more.
I liked moments when Fisk is like a badass and like running people through walls and just slamming and slamming and slamming.
When he's punching and then Dex moves his head and he misses and like
breaks the fucking.
He punches the wall and it like shatters and he goes ah and like pulls his fist back like he's like fuck and all that stuff.
Yes.
I was like, that is so good. Like all three of them again, like something about the like asymmetry, right? Because you have like a rhinoceros and a tiger and a puma, and they're all fighting, right? It's this crazy thing where like Daredevil's doing more of like flips and weird jumps off the thing and comes up with like a kick, and Dex has crazy ranged attacks with like 100% crit, and then this gigantic monster is like grabbing people and throwing them down to things. I was like, I love
the thing about that I was like, okay, so he punches and he misses, and even if that's like a faux brick tile type thing,
I assume it's
he shatters it and then in the next moment grabs the guy with both hands and throws him up the stairs.
Sure.
And I'm like, you should have no ability to use your hand at that point. It could still be a club of throbbing pain, but you shouldn't be able to do dexterous movements.
He's such a badass that he can just do it anyway. It's perfect.
I enjoy a man being like a monster, but that was almost too monstrous for me.
The show has asked me to believe and take in stride so many things with so many people that should have like been bleeding to death or not able to do things, and I'm just like, sure.
I allowed
adrenaline.
I wasn't like he broke brick, because I'm like, we did watch the man throw 500 pounds like it was nothing. I'm like, I don't have any problem believing he could throw his fist so hard it could break something, but his fist is still made of squishy meat. Like, it should cause some serious problems.
But it's all muscle, Stefan.
It doesn't matter.
No, I know.
But I do like, when you're saying the asymmetry of the fight, where he's just a brutish thug mashing, then you have a ninja, and then a man just hurling objects.
Well, he's like, Vanessa, run, and she runs, opens the door, Dex is there. Oh, shit. And now you have this crazy thing where it's like, well, these two don't want Vanessa to die. He's fine with Vanessa dying. He wants to fight Fisk. He also wants to kill Fisk. She doesn't want either of them to hurt Fisk. This whole thing is doing all these... You start drawing lines with yarn and push pins between everyone.
Vanessa was surely in the best position for this fight.
Yes.
Having
the least number of people want to kill her.
3 out of 4 people in that room don't want her dead.
Yes, exactly. 4 people. Yes. Well, yes.
Counting her.
I was going to say, you have to count yourself.
I think she doesn't want to die, but I'm not sure.
You would think so. What else here? Yeah, okay. He deflects Dex's projectiles with the chandelier pieces. The chandelier pieces somehow perfectly fit like weird like baton.
They come out, like batons,
bokens or whatever, and he fucking just does all that. I had mixed feelings about this, but it was okay.
It may not have been like, oh yes, that's perfect, a little convenient, but no, it worked okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a moment of me going, come on.
Come on.
Because there's enough of those.
What do you hear the things going? After he breaks Dex's back, which is a great moment where I was like, "Oh shit!" Right into the corner of like the pillar, just like
and destroyed the pillar. Did you see like it?
Parts are like falling off and stuff like that. No, it was great. Then when it's one-on-one with Matt, Fisk kind of like smiles. He goes like, "Okay," or whatever, and I was like, "That's awesome. That's an awesome little subtle detail where he's like,
but it's like
great, let's go."
It's like a stroke victim smile, where it's like a little half of his face.
He very rapidly starts to fall apart, but I like that he was down. He was like, "Okay, now we can get back to our business." He was really into it. But then Matt, gets the upper hand and like whatever.
Matt got many hands.
He got several hands: upper hands, lower hands, middle hands, side hands.
Yeah, no, he was
the right cross. The left hook. Yeah, no, he was, and this sort of is that scene from when he was talking to his ghost dad.
Yeah.
And he's beating up Fisk, so
Ghost
he's like,
Dad, starring Cosby.
Kind of. So he's like living out his fantasy. He gets to pummel this dude, and Vanessa's screaming and all that stuff. And now we get the real like crescendo, the real like legal loophole, weird like gotcha moment or whatever. I have a problem with this.
All right, what do you got?
And I'll tell you why.
Let's hear it.
So he's like, I'm gonna go after her legally because I have someone who can testify that she ordered the hit on Nadim.
Yes.
Instantly, right? And like I knew from the beginning when like Felix Limey guy said it, but now it's like, oh God, really? I don't like this because why does this guy testifying about this person somehow not have all the same rules that Fisk's way of dealing with problems usually goes applied to it, right? Every other witness, every other testimony, every other problem, Fisk can handle it. But this, for some reason, he can't have someone kill Felix and then it's inadmissible or like fix the jury or do whatever.
My guess would be, as you have him now in custody again, and knowing the things you know about what he was doing from prison last time, he probably gets like no contact, like period.
Maybe.
And with an inability to reach the outside, he can't control anything, and potentially with all his money and stuff gone with the tie because they found that red corporation, whatever it was, the Red Lion. He may just have no money, and everything he did was filtered through his superpower of being rich.
It might be harder for him, but I just something about it because if he has no ability to do anything anyway, you don't need this weird leverage thing. And if he has any ability to do anything, his first order of business should be to remove your leverage from him so that he can move on and do whatever he wants. I don't know what they were planning to do in the future. As like a narrative structure, we are meant to believe got him, and that's fine.
She was going to go to jail. The Armenians were going to kill her in jail. Then he was going to be mad at Matt, send everything he had at him, and Foggy was going to die, and it was going to be this really interesting thing.
So like once she dies,
made all that up.
I know. Once she dies, that's fine or whatever, right? Because then now everything's open again or something like that. And I don't know, Fisk has to know who Matt has because there are only 3 people in that room. So it's either his like tech lady or his right hand man. So he just has them killed, and then he goes, "Ha won again" or whatever. But again, for the purposes of like this is what the story wants me to think, I have to think got him and all that stuff. And that's the thing. They like shake on it. It's like a deal too. It's like my honor.
Well, either way that Fisk is going to jail this time because there's no saving him because of the lock on fucking evidence and the fact that all the people that are under his thumb are now out from under his thumb. So he was going to go to jail. Maybe they couldn't get Vanessa knocked up, and maybe he still would have some power from jail. But we'll never know.
No, we'll never know. But it just it all snaps into focus where it's like, oh, that's why we have to get Vanessa back into the picture. We have to rush through her entire character's like development into like crime queen or whatever, and we have to have her verbally do something in front of someone that then Daredevil has to get a thing on, so that Daredevil can say that I can go after Vanessa because Fisk, while he's like sitting there, is like, I will never stop hunting Karen Page and Foggy Nelsie. I'll tell the world your secret, and he's like goading him on. Like, kill me, do it, I'm right here, kill me now, or whatever. And like, this is how we like resolve that situation. Okay, maybe you don't care about yourself anymore. Maybe you feel like shit, but you care about her. So I'm gonna do this whole thing for her and all that stuff.
I don't know why he wanted to die so bad though.
It did not make sense.
It seemed the opposite of all of his motivations previously.
Yeah.
because he's the kingpin. Like, put me in jail. I'll get out of jail. I do things. But he's like, kill me. Kill me.
He says, no prison can hold me. You have to kill me now, or whatever.
It's very strange.
It's not really consistent with his character, right? To be a villain that's like,
no.
just free me from this endless whatever.
My thought was that maybe he had a weapon or something on him still, and he was gonna try to do something. But I was like, wasn't it? I don't know. It just seemed a little. A little short-sighted and a little rushed.
Well, yeah, it seemed like a thing that other things would just do, and here they didn't really set up this thing as much, so we just did it anyway, though, because it's time to do the thing. And then you go, wait a minute, what? So, like, at first, it feels like, okay, yeah, that's what a villain would say, and then Matt gets out of it by using, the law and not his fists, and all that stuff. But then you, like, reflect on it, and you go, wait, what? Why is he like, kill me?
Yeah.
You've got me right where you want me. Pull the trigger. You can't do it. And I'm like, what? No. He'd be like...
not sure.
He would try to make a deal or something. So then Matt's like, you will not do those things. I will go after Vanessa. I will prove she orchestrated the death of whoever, blah, blah, blah. You will never have Vanessa. This city rejected you. He, like, throws that in there, right? Mm-hmm. So I could see Fisk saying, fuck it, just kill me after Matt lays down the whole plan. But it's kind of out of order, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then when the police come in, I was like, hey, did they not see Daredevil? He's like, does no one look up? Like, does no one survey the situation? He's at the top of a balcony, kind of just standing there for like a minute.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's odd.
Well, you get the money line.
Well, yes.
It's Daredevil.
But you get
because that's Daredevil.
You get that from the character that we know and is on the side. But like any police officer entering a room,
freeze. You
should be scanning the whole fucking room. Because for all you know, there's a guy with a gun who's going to kill you.
Right.
So I thought that was a little goofy.
Did you not like the badass no look? Because that's Daredevil.
I didn't dislike it.
It's corny. I didn't dislike it either.
It's as corny as a superhero thing, can be.
Sure.
And it was fine.
We're using the word fine a lot. We're using the F word.
Well, my overall on this episode was kind of just fine.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it perfect. It worked. I didn't have any giant egregious errors with it. But did I think they from what they've done for 3 seasons could it? And I know they didn't know it was going to be the last episode most likely. So that could have hurt it. But I would have liked it to have been great.
No, I don't think it was great either. Definitely. I can get on board with that because we end things off like he talks to the nun and there's no like, and you're my mom though, right? It's just like, I'm going to come to you
Okay, we'll go back to our relationship the way it was.
I'm going to come to you for help. And she's like, that's what I do. And I'm like, all right, I guess what? We have the whole thing about you being your mother. We're not going to touch on that.
No,
that's
why would
fine.
You?
Oh, but so like, I did like things in this episode, the things that I've already mentioned, and God's plan is a beautiful tapestry, but we only see it from the back with all the knots and rough edges and all that stuff. I'm like, I like them.
No, there was some nice verbiage things. The best things for me were like the knee thing was honestly, and I know that it's like a small thing, but I was like, I like little details of things actually being correct and good.
Things are wonderful. I like it too. I liked at the funeral, he says, Father Lanton, help me this, help me that, did that, whatever, help me see the possibility of being a man without fear. And I was like, ching, this trek across the stars. Oh my God.
That was ruined for me because of how bad that scene was.
Okay.
There was nobody in that. There was nobody in there. It was a virtually an empty house. And then they made a comment saying, almost all of Hell's Kitchen's here. Almost everyone in there was wearing like church attire.
Okay.
So maybe if you would have said something at the beginning like, oh, this is the early ceremony with just the people that worked here. Because you mentioned how all the kids in the orphanage he affected. I'm like, why are there no kids in the audience?
Everyone helped him.
Why is only the 2 center pews even remotely full, and they're not even 100% full? The whole 2 outside edges aren't full at all. This man is a community leader.
He's a pillar.
Even if just the people that went to his church showed up, like that are actively going on Sunday would go. But
even
then
if we got
the people that show up on Easter should show up. You saw more people that like, the reporter friend, he's there. He didn't know this guy. Like, why are there not people we don't know? This should have been the day where it's like, okay, we need all the extras. Anyone can come in. Blah blah. It all works.
I like this a lot. This does not bother me in the slightest.
I was like, this is how you end it? That's like the worst. Like, put a little money in it.
So I was gonna say, right, so this is a clear sign of like not enough budget. I didn't even notice it because I wasn't looking. I was just looking at Matt and like listening to what he said or whatever. So I understand, but they didn't feel like it was important enough to like do something
It
right.
seems.
And this has angered you greatly. I empathize.
And they could have avoided it if they didn't say because they are what made it bad by having the line. Oh man, must be all of Hell's Kitchen out here.
And
then empty seats and crickets start like chirping.
No,
like, what?
exactly. And that's the thing where you don't adjust your script on the day of the shoot. You just have them say the line, or you don't edit it out later. You just say like,
It should have been one of those things where like everyone was there, like the police are there, like it's a fucking thing, like
standing room only.
Yeah,
everybody, FBI people, everybody doing stuff. Nadine's wife.
Yeah. Well, if you have Jeffrey there, why wouldn't Nadine's wife be there?
Exactly.
Oh, anyone that's had a line this week should be here. Like, come on,
everyone. Moving on.
Moving on.
So we get a nice like make good meetup thing with our 3 characters that started it all. They're gonna start Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige, or is it Paige, Murdoch, and Nelson? I was like, I want to vomit. Please end this episode now.
I do think Paige, Murdoch, and Nelson sounds better. But
Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige pretty good.
Nah, Nelson can't be first.
I like that too. That we're like Murdoch's never first.
They drop a line. You're a better investigator than Jessica Jones.
Oh, I was like, So like epilogues can often be cringy, but it's like we've already mentioned the actual button was like the Dex thing. So like yes, I liked the like middle I think more than you did, but then this epilogue was just this rocky thing of like it's like the car's running out of gas and then we're just slowly pulling over and it's like can we get over far enough to get out of the way? I don't know if we can, and then it just stops and you're like okay, right? But in a way that's closure, I guess.
The issue another issue I had was with when Foggy's talking to his brother and he's like the DA doesn't want to prosecute old people. They're fine. You though, you got to pay back the loan, and then it'll all be good, and we'll save the rec center. Like it just, I was like, what? What? And if you would have said something like the DA owes me one, he's going to cut us a break, I would have been like, okay. But it was just something about how it was phrased.
No, it was really shitty.
It was just garbagey.
Because he laid it out like if you make good on that loan, then he's not going to do the things or whatever. And we had said from like the very start, like I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what crime he's guilty of. But if Foggy just pays out the loan, like maybe it's not no harm, no foul, but it can't be the same thing as like I don't know, you go to jail or something, right? I don't really understand.
I don't know. And maybe when Fisk was in power, different things could happen. Like, oh no, we can trump up the charge and make this happen because I own this guy and fuck you. But no, it just felt goofy. And when his parents were leaving, I was like, oh cool, Foggy's just gonna buy the place and then it'll all be done. There'll be no loan at all anymore. And I was like, that would have worked. That didn't work.
No, and like I don't see why.
We're gonna run law out of the back of the salami store.
It'll help us cash in the chickens. Oh, it was so like, haha. It was so like not good. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, it's
part of me is like, am I being too picky? Is this fine? And then part of me is like, no, this wasn't great. This was not awesome. Like the good part is that now we can in our minds imagine them just going on forever, solving cases, doing like rent appraisal law for like trays of lasagna. And Matt's like, I have I'm like a super ninja, but I guess I gotta like go do this deposition, and just like that's forever now. Just doing their thing.
A really expensive apartment. Karen has an apartment. They've been paying for Matt's apartment. Their savings has dwindled. Like, I don't know how they could even survive going back the way they were. Granted, they're not paying for an office anymore because they're out of the back room of the salami.
They're all gonna live above the whatever. I don't know. No, it's not great. It's not great. I
would have liked him to have maybe give Karen a kiss or something at the end and be like, let us know like they're gonna get together, or make an attempt or something.
No, the closest we get is
because we've had a tease now for a while.
Well, there was a bit of a thing, right? I feel like it's a whole. Sometimes I misread things in real life and in shows. So I've like never been sure of how much they're doing their stuff.
It seemed a lot earlier like they were super like, oh, it's gonna happen, and then it didn't happen. And
we got very close, and then
I don't know,
got like knocked out of its thing or whatever. There was a little love triangle. The closest thing we get is that Matt kind of talks to her and like thanks her for like, I'm glad you shared all that stuff and stuff, and you helped show me things about myself too, just like Father Lynn, and someday I might even forgive you. And then she's like, hopefully before my funeral. All that stuff. I really hated this epilogue. I thought it was really like sort of cringy the whole way around. Nothing about it made me go like, oh, that's interesting, or like that's cool, or like yay. And again, like the only takeaway is now I can just forever imagine that these characters went back to business as usual. Matt flirts with the idea of fighting crime, but they're doing their lawyer thing, and now it's like the epilogue of like a movie about this, where like Karen just goes, "Are you going out tonight?" And he goes, "No, Karen." He's like, "Okay," and it's this little like we all know about everything, stupid thing.
Yeah.
And we don't have to see it, and that's fine. Because next season would have picked up, like, hey, it's been business as usual for 18 months, and now shit's going crazy, right? So, like, the business as usual part was always built in to this formula, and now it will just go on forever until our deaths in real life. We can just imagine that they're just doing their thing.
Yeah. That gives me little comfort.
Until a Defenders 8 comes out or something like that.
Nah, we're not getting shit.
Real quick,
Sure.
Nadine left that note, and now the video note, and now
his wife comes into this.
I liked that a lot.
I also like that.
Where she's writing stuff down, they're listening.
I thought it was a little naive to assume they're only listening and they don't have a camera in there.
Sure, I know. And like, would the camera be overhead in like an interrogation room that's like reasonable? Because usually they'll have the shot of like the handcuff thing, and if they're passing a note, to kind of look for that probably. Hey, fair enough though.
But it worked.
But the fact
serviceable.
that the note has a thing of like, if you're showing this to Sammy, like skip to this time code to avoid spoilers. Like, it was like, if you're showing this to Sammy, turn it off now. Okay, good. Anyway, I have evidence. This is my dying declaration. They do this whole thing, like again, legal stuff showing up at the 11th hour to like play and come into play.
Yeah, and as an FBI guy, he would know about that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It's probably fucked him out of like a prosecution or something at some point.
It's probably coming to play. I hadn't heard about that myself, but it makes sense. And it had that moment, like the Scooby-Doo moment, like you're saying, like the Save the Rec Center moment, where Foggy's like, "We can use this. This is admissible," or whatever. And I'm like, doesn't the judge decide that during discovery? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, let's just leak it though. Does that help us? I don't know. Fuck. Yeah, but I like that.
Well, if you leak it, it's a lot harder for Fisk to crush it behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I think with Fisk, it's been proven that the leaking strategy is like the good one or whatever, and not we'll do it through like official channels or whatever. But I liked Seema's character showing back up, having like moments of a moment of strength, and like, I'm like following through on this.
Yeah.
And Nadine told her like what to do, but she's still like, she's there, she's pulling it off. And he's like,
"Sure,
you can trust Foggy. Trust no one else.
Yeah,
go in there."
We knew he recorded a message. It was nice to see the message.
Yeah, it's cool.
And not at all to be behind the scenes, off screen bullshit.
Yeah, I like that it came back into play, because I thought like, him and his family are done. Now we're just gonna punch Fisk a bunch, right? It was cool to have it all factored
with ropes,
with his rope gloves, with his gauntlets of ropes. I can't think of anything else that happened this episode.
That's about the episode.
How do we feel about life?
Well, I really enjoyed Daredevil, the series. And could the last episode have been a little stronger for me? Yeah, but ultimately, I did enjoy the series, and I thought it was good. I thought it was a decent enough cap. I think ultimately a lot of that anger just rises from me wanting there to be more, and what would ever have been the perfect ending for me. I don't know if that exists, or if it could exist. So I was happy. The series overall gets a thumbs up for me. It's one of the best Marvel series. I'm really hoping that the Jessica Jones and the Punisher one end strong for us, and we end up with a Punisher season that's better than the first, and like the best of the three for Jessica Jones. I don't know how they could top season 1 because of David Tennant, but
as strong David Tennant fans we are.
Yes. And he was just really good. It was
a cool thing. It like stood out and was different. And I think that I'm picking on stuff and it wasn't super great, but there are still things that I liked, and I basically agree with you. Daredevil's good, and this doesn't end in a way where I'm like it shits the bed or whatever. No. It just ends. And if we think back, there's like goofy ninja stuff and weird ancient things and stuff. So like it isn't like some of the things that I criticized this episode or this season for are completely out of left field and like who took over as the writer. This is so bad now. It's totally normal, and like I said, it's like small comfort, but the way that it ends doesn't leave me like, oh, if only we could have. I'm just like, yep, that's fine, whatever, we're good. Like I'm like okay with it.
I would have liked one shot, like the last shot, maybe him in the suit again, like on a roof with the moon behind him or something,
right?
And like here's a scream in the distance and you see him run off and it's like,
and it goes and he like runs runs away.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect.
Something
actually.
to say like, oh no, he's still doing this and he's doing it right again. Like,
I wish they would have like added that in later. I guess they can't because it was already released when they announced that it was the last season.
yes.
But that's the kind of thing. So honestly, assuming that they know Jessica Jones and Punisher are like ending, they have time now before it's like released to potentially tweak stuff,
To go back and do stuff.
like edit stuff, if not reshoot stuff for like the way that
I
it
wonder
ends.
if they would even do
Yeah.
that stuff,
I
or
don't
if they
know.
would just cut their ties.
And just be like, fuck it,
Yeah.
fuck it, hit print, let's go,
Well, yeah.
let's go
'Cause
back.
I think they were both like done shooting and stuff. Like, yes,
Yeah.
maybe the editing wasn't done and they could do some things, but I don't know if they would go back for other shots.
I wonder how. Yeah, like reshooting is a lot. That's why I said like if not reshoot it, but like you can probably do something to change
Maybe able to
things up a
tailor
little
things
bit.
or voiceover or something.
Yeah. Can we get Kristen Ritter in here to record this paragraph or whatever? Kristen
No, they
Ritter?
can't.
Yeah. No, she's busy.
Yeah.
So that's that. We're ending an entire chapter of Marvel Netflix stuff. The future's uncertain, everything sucks, and we will not have Daredevil anymore to help us through.
All facts. All right, guys, so that's our thoughts on this series. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.